The two then agreed to cut off Brandes' for them to eat it together. Brandes...
No. What do you mean y'all are sharing meats, bruh? What's good, YouTube? Today we're gonna be finding out what happens to cannibals in prison. I'm not gonna lie. If I was a prison inmate and I find out my cellmates love eating people for a living, what you mean you love this more than chicken, gang? I'd probably crash out. Let's get started.
Psychopath, lunatic, crazy. These are names we use when describing serial killers.
Okay.
However, murderers who go ahead to eat their victims are a different
disgusting.
kind of crazy. Needless to say, they strike...
No, hold on. We gotta call them a crazy name, though. Like, what in you prefers human meat over actual food? Huh? Life just gotta be boring for you.
Fear into the hearts of ordinary citizens. But what happens when they get locked up? Do they live in constant fear for their lives? Do they become targets and have to live looking over their shoulders?
Of
or
course!
Are they also feared by their fellow inmates?
Imagine trying to sleep knowing that your inmate eats people for fun. I'm sleeping with one eye open, bro. I swear you probably think I'm Fetty Wap.
Let's find out what really happens to cannibals in prison. Jeffrey Dahmer.
Oh.
It's Jeffrey Dahmer, the serial killer and cannibal whose saga of evil has been given new life in the hit Netflix series Monster.
How is he like so calm? Dog, yo ad just got exposed for eating like 80 humans. And why is his body still okay? Is human meat consumable?
He is pure evil, but you'd never know it by looking at him.
Now we know.
When you hear him, that's another story. His killing field was Milwaukee, and he got away with murder for more than a decade.
Damn.
Jeffrey Lionel Dahmer is
it that easy to get away with murder nowadays?
arguably the most famous cannibal in history. Milwaukee Cannibal, or the Milwaukee Monster. It's clear as day that he caused the residents of Milwaukee sleepless nights. With 17 deaths to his name,
Damn.
Jeffrey Dahmer could only be described as a heartless monster. So who exactly was Jeffrey Dahmer? What triggered him to become the monster that he turned out to be? How was he arrested? And what was his life in jail like? Jeffrey Dahmer was born May 21st, 1960 in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Much has been said about his parents and their possible role in creating the monster that everyone now knows.
Yeah, what did y'all feed him? I know maybe y'all was on some EBT, maybe the food prices was so low. Did y'all just like cut off your arm real quick and be like, here's a little fruit snack, I got you, gang? Like, what happened?
His dad, Lionel Herbert Dahmer,
What
was
did he
a
do?
chemistry student and later a research chemist. During most of Dahmer's childhood, his dad's studies kept him away from his son. This means that he spent a lot of time with his mom, Joyce Annette Dahmer.
Hold on, why his mom kind of bad though? Hey, yo, is his mom an eater too? Hey, I got something you can eat. Yo, my bad.
Type machine instructor. Dahmer's mom had her fair share of troubles as she suffered from depression, demanded constant attention, and spent an increasing amount of time in bed. Therefore, neither parent devoted much time to their son. At elementary school, Dahmer was regarded as quiet and timid, meaning he had few friends. Interestingly, from an early age, Dahmer manifested an interest in dead animals. According to his dad, Dahmer was oddly thrilled by the sound the bones made and became so preoccupied with animal bones that one time he even asked what would happen if chicken bones were placed in bleach. From his
And you wondered why you had no friends, buddy? What do you mean everyone trying to hop on Fortnite, but you want to eat crocodiles alive? How that make sense? No wonder why your ass had no friends. While everyone was saying, oh, let's go eat Wingstop, your ass immediately went to the barnyard and ate chicken.
Freshman year at Revere High School, Dahmer was seen as an outcast as his troubles at home got the better of him, and he finally fell into alcohol. His parents constantly fought, leading them to finally get a divorce in 1978. It was that same year that Dahmer would murder his first victim, a hitchhiker named Stephen Mark Hicks, just 3 weeks after his graduation from high school. This murder set him on a path that would see him take 16 more lives.
You see, nah, this is racist. Yo, Jeffrey Dahmer, how do black people taste like? Because clearly that's your top on the menu. Why are there like 75% black people on this list? Huh? How are you gonna be a racist and a cannibal? Like, choose one struggle, gang.
According to Dahmer, he began to actively seek victims, most of whom he encountered in or around gay bars, and would typically lure them to his grandmother's home in West Allis, Wisconsin. He would drug his victims, and once they were unconscious, he strangled them to death. He would then dismember their bodies and dispose of the remains in the trash. However, he retained their skulls before pulverizing them several months later. So sick was the Milwaukee Monster that he sometimes kissed and talked to the severed heads of his victims while he did.
Yeah, bro. Why'd y'all even get him in prison? Why did y'all just give him the death penalty? Are you that lonely, huh? Even Discord mods are less lonelier than you. You talking to severed heads like these? You're probably making out with them too hard. You're probably getting some top. Yo, this guy is weird.
Dismembered the remainder of their bodies. Dahmer's reign of terror would come to an end on July 22nd, 1991. After his attempt to kill his 18th victim, Tracy Edwards, failed, and he was subsequently arrested.
Milwaukee police found body parts in a north side apartment, and now they wonder if they've uncovered some kind of death factory.
Y'all waited until 20 deaths?
Leading them to believe the man they arrested is a mass murderer.
Where y'all get this police from,
Dahmer
Timu?
waived his right to have a lawyer present throughout his interrogations, adding he wished to confess to his crimes. According to him, he had created this horror and wanted to do everything to put an end to it. The Milwaukee Monster even confessed to having consumed the hearts, liver, biceps, and thighs of some of his victims. Dahmer was charged and later pleaded guilty in court. The courtroom was filled with drama during Dahmer's sentencing as his victims' families expressed their grief. There was more shock.
Damn, bro, and I'm thinking like they can't even get the remaining parts of their missing family members, bro, because they're in his stomach. It's dissolved by now, bro. They can't even get a proper burial.
Dahmer's attorney announced his client wished to address the court. Dahmer then approached a lectern and read from a statement prepared by himself and his defense as he faced the judge.
Okay,
I didn't ever want freedom.
we can tell.
Frankly, I wanted death for myself.
So why don't you do it?
This was a case to tell the world that I did what I did not for reasons of hate. I hated no one. I knew I was sick or evil or both.
You definitely love
Now I
the
believe
human
I
meat,
was
though.
sick.
Dahmer even revealed that he knew his time in prison would be hell. I know my time in prison will be terrible, but I deserve whatever I get because of what I have done.
At least
he
you know.
told the court, and it seems he was not wrong. For the first year of his incarceration, Dahmer was placed in solitary confinement due to concerns for his safety. Surprisingly, upon Dahmer's request, he was transferred to a less secure unit. This proved to be the wrong move. On July 3rd, 1994, a fellow inmate, Osvaldo Durruti, attempted to
What did he
slash
do?
Dahmer's throat with a razor embedded in a toothbrush. As
Damn, yo, bro, prisoners are creative as hell, bro. What you mean you're taking out a freaking nickel and you're gonna sharpen it and you're gonna make it a gun for some reason? Hey, W him though.
Dahmer sat in the prison chapel. Although he survived the attack, he would not be lucky a few months later. On the morning of November 28, 1994, Dahmer was discovered on the floor of the bathrooms of the gym, suffering from extreme head wounds, and was pronounced dead 1 hour later at a nearby
I wonder
hospital.
who did it. Don't
Fellow
snitch.
inmate Christopher Scarver had used a metal bar to repeatedly hit Dahmer on the head till he was unconscious. Well, Dahmer had known that something like this would happen.
I mean, to be fair, I'd be scared of a dude that was gonna eat me too. Like, come on, gang. All it takes is for one. Oh yeah, buddy. We're taking the biggest thing we got. Bop.
According to Dahmer's family, he had long been ready to die and accepted any punishment which he might endure in prison. In fact, during one of the calls he had with his mom after the first attempt on his life, he said, "It doesn't matter, Mom. I don't care if something happens to me." Katherine Knight.
And his mom actually cares. I'm sorry, at that point, you just gotta disown your son. You're not my son no more, gang. You a zombie.
Killer Katherine Knight lives inside the fearsome Silverwater Women's Correctional Center, formerly known as the Mulawa Correctional Center, in Western Sydney, where she's known to other inmates as the Nana. "We called her the Nana," a former fellow inmate said about Katherine Knight. "She is a gentle soul and not a criminal to me. She is a mediator at Mulawa. She's someone who sorted out problems before they got serious."
She also sorted the arms from the heart, from the brain to the meat. Like, she eating everything. What you mean she's sorting shit? She's not sorting anything. You cannot be a mediator and a cannibal at the same time. Dude, she's trying to eat y'all.
Pull the girls in and try to get them to sort out whatever it was before it ended up with someone going into segregation or getting more time added to their sentence. So how did Katherine Knight end up in jail? What led her to murder and cannibalize her victim? Katherine Knight was born and raised in an unconventional and dysfunctional family environment. Her mother, Barbara Ruffin, had been married to Jack Ruffin and lived with him in the small town of Aberdeen in New South Wales Hunter Valley. Unfortunately, Barbara began an adulterous relationship with Ken Knight, a friend and co-worker of her then husband. When the affair was brought to light, Ken Knight and Barbara were forced to move out of town and live elsewhere. Barbara had 4 additional children with Ken, including
isn't that the kid from 13 Reasons Why? Hey, he's a cannibal too? I'm just playing. Wait, have they ever discovered Hannah Baker's body? I don't know.
Girls born in 1955. Katherine was one of these twin daughters. The relationship between Ken and Barbara was not as rosy as everyone thought. Behind the scenes, Ken was a violent alcoholic who would constantly abuse his wife. Barbara, in turn, often told her daughters intimate details of herself and how much she hated men. All this happened when Katherine was still very young, which affected her later on in life. One of the effects is that she did not have close friends. In fact, apart from her twin sister, the only other person whom Katherine was close to was her uncle, Oscar Knight, a champion horseman who committed suicide in 1969.
Damn, bruh! Yo, her life is already on hard mode, bruh.
even claimed that Oscar's ghost often visited her. When she attended Muswellbrook High School, Katherine became a loner and is remembered by classmates as a bully who stood over smaller children.
Damn.
She was also not the sharpest tool in the shed and had to leave school.
Well, yeah, I think we can tell that. If you're craving human meat, I don't think you're Einstein, buddy.
At 15 years of age without having learned to read or write. At 18 years old, Katherine met her soon-to-be husband, David Stanford Kellett. The two
No. Soon-to-be meal. Let's be real.
married 1 year later in 1974. The marriage between the two started off on the wrong foot, as Katherine tried to strangle Kellett on their wedding night. Katherine later explained it was because he fell asleep after only having intercourse 3 times.
How many more times do you want him to smash? It's 3 times. Plus, you gonna want to end him on the wedding, bro. He just got married, gang. After 1 session, I'ma fall asleep. You said 3?
Was not the end of the violent episodes, as on one occasion, a heavily pregnant Katherine burned all of Kellett's clothing and shoes before hitting him across the back of the head with a frying pan, simply because he had arrived home late. Kellett couldn't take it any longer and eventually left. After being with several men, Katherine moved in with John Charles Thomas Price in 1995. This would turn out to be the worst decision, as Katherine's dreadful crime would take place just 5 years later. As time went by, their relationship started going downhill, partly because of Katherine's rages, which saw her assault Price on a number of occasions. The fighting became even more frequent, and most of his friends would no longer have anything to do with him while they remained together. Finally fed up, Price decided to take action. On the 29th of February 2000, Price stopped at the Scone Magistrates Court on his way to work and took out a restraining order in an attempt to keep Katherine away from both himself and his children. While he was sleeping, Katherine went to work, stabbing Price 37 times, and then expertly
37 times? Gang, you not dealing with no queso, okay? You not dealing with no Nico Cotto avocado. You do not need to stab him 37 times, okay? I'm pretty sure he's a skinny dude.
Flaying his body with her favorite knife. She made a skin suit which she hung from a meat hook, and then decapitated him and boiled up his head on his kitchen stove with vegetables and gravy. She even set plates with the names of Price's children, as she planned to serve his body parts to his children.
This is the therapist at the prison. She fed her husband to her children. She needs a death sentence. Lock her up now. Electric chair, bro. Injection. Anything. Get her out of here. Ship her to Mars, bro.
Katherine's initial offer to plead guilty to manslaughter was rejected, and she was charged with murdering Price, to which she entered a plea of not guilty. However, as the jury was being selected, Katherine changed her plea to guilty, and the jury was dismissed. Subsequently, Supreme Court Justice Barry O'Keefe handed Knight a life sentence, with no chance of ever being released. Being the first woman killer to be given life without any possibility of parole, the story gripped the nation that even a book about her was written. The book, Green is the New Black, details her life inside the fearsome Silverwater Women's Correctional Center. As it turns out, the prison officers never take their eyes off her, and she's not allowed near knives. In fact, she can't even have a cellmate in case she kills again. Katherine was stuck in a factory every day from 8 a.m.
I still can't blame them, bro. It's one thing being locked up with a murderer, but someone that's gonna eat you, bro. Like, you don't even have to have any weapons. You might just nibble at me at 2 a.m. in the morning.
To 1 p.m. making headphones. She's said to be one of the best workers in the headphone factory and commands the top wage. However, according to the book, 4 guards flank her, watch her every move, and are with her every day. Surprisingly, her behavior behind bars is totally different from what she was in the
who are these prisoners? They could get it. They fine as hell. Matter of fact, free them.
Outside world. She would stop girls stealing from each other and stop girls from fighting, but she never did it by standing over anyone. She never raised her hands to anyone. She was just someone who everyone loved. One inmate said about Katherine, while the inmates love and adore her, the prison guards have a different take on her. She's the top boss of the jail, one officer said. She takes no crap from anyone and absolutely gives it to the guards. If you come in to search her cell, she will stand in front of you with a smug face and scream at you. Is for sure, it does seem like a bad idea for anyone to mess with her. Armin Meiwes.
She gonna eat you.
The story of Armin Meiwes is unlike any other cannibal out there.
What do you know?
He's not a murderer like the others on this list. His story is one that shook many back in 2001 and sparked off a fiery debate. Armin was born on the 1st of December 1961 and was the only child of Waltrud Meiwes. He had 2 older half-brothers from his father's previous relationship with another woman. Unfortunately, his father abandoned him when he was 8, leaving him to be raised by his mother. Armin described himself as feeling very lonesome after the family had fallen apart. art. In his adolescent years, he became fascinated by the German fairy tale, Hansel and Gretel. This fascination would eventually lead him to commit an unthinkable act that would see him spend a lifetime in prison. For extra context, in the fairy tale, Hansel and Gretel are siblings who are abandoned in a forest and fall into the hands of a witch who lives
and then they eat the witch, or the witch let them go?
A gingerbread and candy house. The witch, who has cannibalistic intentions, intends to fatten Hansel before eventually eating him. However, Gretel saves her brother by pushing the witch into her own oven, killing her, and escaping with the witch's treasure.
So
While
he killed
most
his
children
parents?
would marvel at the heroics displayed by Gretel to save her brother, Armin's attention was captured by the witch. Something about her wanting to eat the small boy fascinated young Armin, who would harbor the desire to replicate the witch's habit into his adult life. There was just one problem. Armin was
No. Hold up, Armin. You did not understand the story correctly, bro. The witch is not the good person. Everyone views her as the evil person. The whole story was don't be gritty and shit, something like that. Not eating children.
Not a killer. He did not have it in himself to become violent to satisfy his desires. So, he did the only thing he knew could work. He decided to look for someone who would willingly accept to be killed and their body cannibalized. Looking for a willing volunteer, Armin posted an advertisement on the then active website, The Cannibal Cafe, a now defunct forum for people with a cannibalism fetish. Armin's advertisement stated that he was looking for a well-built 18 to 25-year-old to be slaughtered and then consumed. Sure enough,
I butchering you and eat your horny flesh. So, dude, are you ripping dude's meat off and eating it? Are you serious? And I ain't talking about the meat on your body. I'm talking about the meat down there. What?
Armin had his volunteer. Bernd Jürgen Armando Brandes, a 43-year-old engineer from Berlin, answered the advertisement in March 2001. Interestingly, many other people responded to the advertisement but later grew cold feet and backed out. Armin and Brandes met on the 9th of March 2001 in Armin's home, where they agreed to film the entire gruesome ordeal. They started with Brandes swallowing 20 sleeping pills and a bottle of cough syrup. The two then agreed to cut off Brandes' for them to eat it together. Brandes
No. What do you mean y'all are sharing meats, bruh? Oh, hold on. I see your meat is actually 4 inches long. I'm gonna cut it diagonally so you get 2 inches and I get 2 inches. This is not Tootsie Rolls, bruh. What are y'all doing?
This initially insisted Armin attempt to bite the body part off. This did not work, and ultimately Armin used a knife to remove it. Brandes even tried to eat some of it raw, but could not, because it was too tough and chewy. Armin then fried the body part in a pan with salt, pepper, wine, and garlic. This did not go to plan as it became too burnt to be consumed. He then chopped the up into chunks and fed it to his dog. Armin proceeded to run his volunteer a bath before going to read a Star Trek book while checking in every 15 minutes. All this time, Brandes lay bleeding in the bath, drifting in and out of consciousness. After long hesitation and prayer, Armin killed Brandes by stabbing him in the throat, after which he hung the body on a meat hook. Armin dismembered and ate the corpse over the next 10 months.
Let me get this straight. When y'all first tried human meat, y'all were like, this is not it. And then you murdered him so you could have him for 10 months? What are you doing, bro?
Storing body parts in his freezer under pizza boxes and consuming up to 20 kilograms or 44 pounds of the flesh. The incident was recorded on a 4-hour videotape, which has never been released to the public due to its gruesome contents. There is a rumor that 4 screenshots of the video can be found online, but the credibility of the screenshots has never been proven.
It's probably on Twitter.
Fascinated by the incident, Armin went back to the internet to look for more volunteers. However, in December 2002, a college student alerted authorities to new advertisements for victims online. German authorities swung into action and searched Armin's home. There they found body parts and the videotape of the killing, and he was subsequently arrested. Although Armin was diagnosed with a schizoid personality, he was deemed fit to stand trial. On the 30th of January 2004, he was convicted of manslaughter and sentenced to 8 years and 6 months in prison.
8 years? Wait, hold on, Germany. What y'all got going on? I know a crazy thing happened back in the 1800s, 1900s with y'all, but y'all can't be getting no slap on the wrist for a dude that eats humans.
This attracted considerable media attention and sparked a debate. Many people questioned whether he belonged in jail since his victim had willingly accepted to be killed and cannibalized. Nevertheless, Armin admitted to cannibalizing Brandes and expressed regret for his actions, and he was whisked to jail. Unfortunately, just 1 year after he began his sentence, a German court ordered a retrial after prosecutors appealed his sentence. They argued that he should have been convicted of murder because he killed for sexual gratification, a motive proved by his having videotaped the crime. The court ruled that the original trial had ignored the significance of the video in disproving the argument that Armin only killed because he had been asked to kill. More bad news followed, as at his retrial, a psychologist psychologist stated that Armin could reoffend, as he still had fantasies about devouring the flesh of young people. Now, there was no way the courts would let him go and put the public in danger. And true to that, on the 10th of May 2006, a court in Frankfurt convicted Armin of murder and sentenced him to life imprisonment.
Imagine being told you only gotta serve 8 years and now you gotta serve life. No, at this point, he's really gonna crash out. Y'all gotta end him in prison before he eats you.
While in jail, Armin became a vegetarian and urged people like him to go for treatment, so it doesn't escalate as it did with him. Since this is a unique
are y'all gonna
case,
free him?
some prison rules have been relaxed for him. As of 20...
Yo, why'd that prison pants look fine though? Hey, yo, bro, give me them pants, bro.
20, Armin has been allowed to go outside of prison for supervised excursions in disguise around town in a different state. It's crazy how much trust even guards have with him, showing that he was never a violent criminal.
Damn.
Nikolai Jumal, Germany to now Kazakhstan. Nikolai Ispolovich Jumagaliev is believed to have killed and cannibalized at least 10 people, targeting mainly women. Shockingly, his atrocities were carried out in a span of only 2 years, between 1979 and 1980. Nikolai was considered by all who knew him as a well-spoken, clean-shaven gentleman who was always neatly dressed. However, he had one physical flaw that everyone who knew him would look past. He possessed white metal teeth, losing his natural teeth years.
And y'all are gonna call this man clean? Are you serious? Dude don't even got no teeth left. All he got is dentures.
Before.
White
This
metal?
later earned him the nickname Metal Fang. Though not exactly a loner,
Why that got
Nikolai
aura?
would generally keep to himself, walking around town trying to meet different women wherever he went. His favorite spot...
This is not Riz, bruh. Eating up women, like, in that context, you know, we're not talking about the same eating. When I think about eating, I mean, like, we about to do some crazy shit in bed. When you talk about eating, we talking about actual, you feel me, eating her out like an In-N-Out burger, gang. Relax.
in town was near a riverbank where he would meet a young lady and lure her into the dark end of the park nearby.
EDP?
There, he would then abuse the woman and finish off by hacking the body up with a knife and axe he carried at all times.
Yo!
However, he wasn't done yet.
What?
He would then proceed to cook up parts of his victims and eat their flesh. The rest he would bag up in a sack and take home with him. Later
To-go
on, when he was
boxes are
discovered,
crazy.
police realized that Nikolai was also often inclined to throw little get-togethers with friends where he would cook up large amounts of meat to be shared with his guests.
Oh,
These
no.
get-togethers were always thrown right after one of his
Oh,
murders.
no.
He was feeding his unwitting guests parts of his recent kill.
No.
What is surprising is that Nikolai had been arrested and charged several other times for killing people, but never stayed in jail for long. For example,
Wait. He killed people and y'all freed him? That's y'all fault then. No, imagine being like, yo, where'd you get this meat from? This shit tastes good, bro. Oh, that's a girl's thighs right there. Like, that sounds crazy.
in August 1979, while in a drunken stupor, he accidentally shot a fellow fireman for which he was arrested. However, he was diagnosed with schizophrenia, and in less than a year, he was released and returned to the outside world where he would continue his killing spree. There are two
Well, no
popular
shit, he
stories
got
told about how
schizo.
Nikolai was finally arrested. The lesser-known one claims that two town drunks who were invited back to his house for some snacks led police to Nikolai. Upon entering the home, the drunks discovered a woman's head, along with intestines, in the kitchen, ready for cooking. The most told story of his arrest claims that Nikolai's ninth murder was the one that led to his capture. He invited some friends and their girlfriends to his home. However, driven by his urge to murder, Nikolai ended up killing one of his friends and began to dismember him in the next room. When
In
the
front
other
of
guests
everybody?
came looking for them and saw what was happening, they fled in horror from the house and
How were you expecting him to react? Oh, bro, you know what? We ain't even rock with it. He probably tastes good anyway. I saw him eating healthy. I saw him eating his veggies and shit. Yeah, he's gonna taste exquisite. Of course, they're gonna report you to the police, gang.
it to the police. The arriving policeman caught the cannibal on his knees, smeared with blood.
Hey,
The police
yo,
were so
you're on
shocked
your
at what they
knees?
found that the cannibal was able to escape. He fled to the mountains naked, with a hatchet in his hands. He was tracked down and taken into custody the next day, on December 19th, 1980. Nikolai's stay in jail was not like other cannibals on this list. Since he had previously been diagnosed with schizophrenia, he was again declared insane and remanded to a special treatment center, where he spent the next 8 years. On August 29th, 1989, while being transferred to an ordinary mental hospital, Nikolai managed to escape, using the car in which he was being transported,
y'all
and was
serious?
declared a fugitive. After 2 years on the run, it
What
became
did he do?
harder and harder to hide as the authorities intensified their search for him. So he decided to divert attention from his hideout and put investigators on the wrong track by making them think that he was in Moscow. He asked a friend to take a letter he had written to a friend in Bishkek and mail it from Moscow. The letter ended with the words, "Now I will return soon. There are a lot of beautiful women here. No one will notice their loss."
Yo!
His stratagem worked, as the press and various publications spread the rumors that the killer
When we look at beautiful women, we trying to smash. When you look at beautiful women, you trying to eat them, gang? What?
In the capital. However, his time on the run was cut short when he was finally arrested in 1991. Currently, he is isolated from society and is incarcerated in a specialized psychiatric.
Yeah, it's really not that hard to not catch someone with a whole black eye, bro. You real life the black-eyed peas, gang.
Clinic. He once filed an application to be given the death penalty, but it was regarded by experts as a symptom of the deterioration of his condition.
Anyways, YouTube, moral of the story being, do not eat people. Why is that advice I should be giving people? And if you go to jail, don't be next to someone that's gonna eat you. Simple as that, bruh. Make sure you guys join us on Discord, catch us on Twitch, make sure you guys subscribe, all that good stuff, man. Waxer for life. Love y'all, and peace.